It was at a critical moment in his campaign, trying to win support from the Christian right, that John McCain sought and received a big endorsement in the evangelical world.
And I'm very honored today to have one of the truly great leaders in America, a moral compass, a spiritual guide, Pastor Rob Parsley, who is here. And thank you for your leadership and your guidance. I'm very grateful you're here, sir.
Campaign aides later positioned Parsley right behind McCain for photographers, apparently unconcerned about what Parsley stands for.
I know that this statement sounds extreme, but I'm not shrinking back from its implications. The fact is that America was founded, I'm going to stagger you right now, America was founded in part with the intention of seeing this false religion destroyed. And I believe September 11, 2001 was a generational call to arms that we can no longer ignore. I will counter respectfully that what some call extremists are instead mainstream Muslim believers who are drawing from the well at the very heart of Islam. It is said of Ishmael and his descendants in ancient times that they would live by the sword, and he was a wild donkey of a man. His hand will be against everyone, and everyone's hand will be against him. And he will live in hostility toward all his brothers. I suggest that this is the spirit that has come to fill Islam, or perhaps that Islam encompassed from the very beginning. We are heading toward an historic conflict. Islam is growing rapidly and is becoming more violent. America has historically understood herself to be a bastion against Islam in the world. Now America is engaged in conflict with Muslims at home and the far-flung battlegrounds of Afghanistan and Iraq. History is crashing in upon us. What makes the conflict with Islam so desperate is that Islam is not just another belief system at odds with Christianity. Islam is not just another belief system which is at conflict with America, Christianity. It's not just a set of superstitions or practices that people do in the privacy of their own home that never bother anyone else. Islam instead is a faith that fully intends to conquer the world. Islam is an anti-Christ religion that intends through violence to conquer the world.
You don't like Islam, their beliefs are against your beliefs, but in this country, doesn't everyone have a right to worship and hold the religious beliefs that they want?
Well, I don't think there's any question about that, but what we do have is a battle over truth. Islam says that Jesus didn't die on a cross. Islam says that Jesus wasn't raised from the dead. Islam says that Jesus isn't God. We have a diametrical problem here. Islam is a lie from the pit of hell, and we need to be able to speak that truth from the corners and the streets and the highways and byways in America.
No one's contesting your right to speak the truth, but...
Recently, preachers Pat Robertson and Franklin Graham expounded on Islam in this way.
These people are crazed fanatics, and I want to say it now. I believe it's motivated by demonic power. It is satanic, and it's time we recognize what we're dealing with.
If people think Islam is such a wonderful religion, just go to Saudi Arabia and make it your home.
Well, I say, first of all, that Franklin Graham and Pat Robertson, in this case, spoke the truth as Christian believers and as Christian truth tellers, and that's their responsibility.
Do you think Islam is a demonic religion?
Well, I would have to say, as a Christian, that I believe that any belief system, any worldview, whether it's Zen Buddhism or Hinduism or dialectical materialism, for that matter, Marxism, that keeps persons captive and keeps them from coming to faith in the Lord Jesus Christ, yes, is a demonstration of satanic power.
So you're gonna go to peace-loving Hindus and look at them and say your religion is demonic, doctor? That's what you're going to do?
Well, you know, that's an historic Christian position, just understanding, like the Apostle Paul, that the spirit of this age is blinding persons from understanding the gospel.
Can you point to me in Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John one time when Jesus looked at a Jew and said, you're in a demonic religion?
They were speaking a deeply Christian truth there that Christians have believed for 2,000 years, and by the way, not with Muslims, because of course now we have only about 14 centuries of dealing with the challenge of Islam, but any belief system that keeps persons from coming to Christ, we would see as a manifestation of a demonic power.
Back in the book segment tonight, did you see that? We begin with Pat Robertson taking no prisoners when talking about Islam.
Islam is a violent, I was going to say religion, but it's not a religion. It's a political system. It's a violent political system bent on the overthrow of the governments of the world and world domination. That is the ultimate aim.
But what does it take? What evidence does it take for our president to admit this was an act of terror?
It's a good question.
God.
It's a good question, and it was an act of terror. But let me play devil's advocate here. Barack Obama wants to win hearts and minds in the Middle East, in the Muslim world, which is a good thing. And you know that. As a soldier, we can't kill all the Muslims. So we want to win as many hearts and minds of good, moderate Muslims as we can.
It's just like our mosque, but that's bigger than ours inside. And they're different because, you know, our mosque, this is a Sunni mosque, and ours is a Wahhabi